What's up, guys? I'm BTC. We just got a brand new teaser for the upcoming Overwatch 2 hero. This is going to be an Omnic tank, and his name is Ramattra. We're going to be getting this character with Season 2 of the Overwatch 2 Battle Pass, which I believe starts early December. Might be December 6th, actually. Don't quote me on that particular date, but he will be joining us early December. And we've already seen this character. We saw him very briefly during one of the archive missions at the very end. We saw him meeting with Doomfist, so it's likely that he's going to be working with Talon in one way or another. Now, the teaser that we got was mostly focused around his story and history, lore, and his motivations and stuff. However, the devs did give us a little bit of information about how the character is actually going to be played, and it's going to be quite a bit different from most of the other tanks that are currently in the game, and I'll talk about that in just a second here. So again, the teaser that we got did focus mostly on his lore, and it does seem that Blizzard is once again retconning a pretty significant piece of the Overwatch history, the backstory, the lore, whatever you want to call it, because what they're saying now, and the devs, when they were at the Overwatch League desk or whatever, and they were talking about it, because that's when it was announced, during the Overwatch League, and the devs were saying that Omnics can no longer be created. And that's one of the reasons why this guy is fighting, because they just keep losing more and more Omnics, and since they cannot create any more of them, like it's impossible to make any more for some bizarre reason, and that's why he's fighting, to preserve the race of Omnics or whatever. But again, I don't know why that would be, because during the Omnic Crisis and the second Omnic Crisis, there were these things called Omniums, which were giant factories that could create and mass produce a huge amount of Omnics, like of all different kinds, right? So I don't know why it's like they're pretending that the Omniums just didn't exist, and maybe there aren't any currently that exist within the world, although I think there actually is one somewhere in, I think it's in Siberia or something, because there's kind of like a little bit of an Omnic crisis that's going on right there between the forces up there versus the Omnics, and they're still making more up there, but I guess they're retconning that as well. So I don't know. Basically, they're saying that it's impossible to make Omnics anymore, and they're just pretending that the Omniums just didn't exist, even though, you could just go and build another Omnium and then create more Omnics, but I don't know, whatever. In any event, this character is going to have well, first of all, he is the leader of the Null Sector as well, and that's how he controls all of the other Omnics and whatnot. And his tanking style is going to be kind of a two-part thing. So, sort of like what Bastion could do, except way, way, way more advanced than that. You're going to be able to change forms. Like, he has two different modes. The first mode is going to be more of like a sort of Reinhardt Sigma-type character, Sigma-type tank, where he's going to sit in the back and he has a barrier, and he's going to be able to launch projectiles at stuff. And then he can transform into a different mode, which is much more aggressive, and he's going to be able to kind of dash into the enemy line, and he's going to kind of function more like Doomfist in that regard. So you have the two different modes, and you'll be able to switch between these two modes. So a couple of things that we do know that he's going to have. The first thing is he's going to have a barrier. The second thing is his main attack is going to be a projectile, some sort of long-range attack, and he does use the staff or something, and it's what it looks like. It's probably going to change into something when he's actually playing, but he has that staff, and he's going to be able to use it for long-range attacks. And then when he shifts into it, he's going to be more of a melee character. And the devs did specifically said that he's going to go in and start punching people. So I don't know if he's going to actually punch them, like literally punch them like Doomfist, or if he's going to use some sort of melee weapon when he gets in close. But it's very likely that he's going to have some sort of damage absorption, kind of like a Fortify, similar type effect when he is in close, because they referred to it as sort of a kind of a rage mode. Like, he gets really, really angry, and think of it kind of like the Incredible Hulk, right? Like, he gets really angry, Ramattra smash, basically, and he just goes into the enemy line, and he just starts hitting stuff. And so he's going to be way more durable when he's in that mode. Another lore related thing to point out is that he is supposed to be very good friends with Zenyatta, which is kind of interesting because it seems like they're going in different directions. Like Zenyatta wants to kind of do the thing that Mundata did, bringing everybody together and having peace and this and that. Whereas this character is more about just fighting the humans and securing a place of their own kind of deal. So this guy kind of wants more war, whereas Zenyatta wants peace, and yet they're still supposed to be very good friends, and I don't know how they're going to kind of flesh that out among the two, but that is another thing that they're going to try to add with the story. Now, of course, without knowing all the specifics about his abilities, his ultimate, how long it's going to take for him to move from one form into the other, if there's a cooldown on it, this and that, and all that other stuff, I don't really know where he's going to fit or how powerful he's going to be compared to the other stuff. But considering that he does seem to have a lot of stuff going on, it seems like he's going to be kind of geared more towards the upper skill bracket as opposed to the lower. Now, it doesn't mean that he's going to be useless, but it is going to be one of those characters that's probably going to require a pretty good amount of skill in order to master him because he has so much stuff going on, and therefore he's just going to be naturally better used by the upper brackets, just kind of in general. As far as when we're going to get more information about this character, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be next week or even the week after. They're probably going to wait a little bit closer until the character is actually about to get released before we get another trailer with a full breakdown of all of his abilities and all that stuff on display. Or maybe they could just show it off next week. I don't know. But I think it's going to be more towards when he actually does get released. So there you go, guys. The next hero is going to be Ramattra. What do you guys think about him, and what do you think his abilities are going to be? Let me know down below.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so